one thing that you need to change. And there's probably a list of things that you need to change, but girl, just pick one and be disgusted with yourself. Be so disgusted. Brother, ew. Sister in Christ, ew. What are you doing? Hey bestie, welcome back to the Own Your Arrow podcast. It's your host, Yolanda. Girl, my boyfriend was scrolling through his Spotify to get to a Joe Rogan episode. I'm like, he has videos there. So you will see if you're on Spotify. Hello, we now have videos. So these will go on YouTube and they will be on Spotify. So that's kind of cool. So you can either listen on the go, you can watch on the go, girl, like whatever floats your boat. Today is Tuesday. It has legitimately taken me all day to record this. So in case you've missed it, I am completely in my fun employment era. I was let go from my position of nearly 4 years. Oh my gosh, it's almost been a whole 4 weeks, which is absolutely crazy just to think about how quickly time passes. And it has taken me all day to do this, and I've been doing quite literally not much of anything. And actually, it's only been 3 weeks, so let's back that up and not make me seem like such a sloth. I am battling. I washed these braids today and I have water in my left ear. And so that feels really weird and it's very uncomfortable. And I've been trying to get it out and I can't get it out. So send help. But if you send help, I'm going to need you to send it via email. Because maybe one or two of you have even noticed, but I have been on a social media hiatus. I was feeling really called to get off of social media, which is always this really weird, hard thing for me. And so I said on Friday of last week, which was the 7th or 8th, I'm going to get off of social media just for the weekend. And then that Sunday, just was having this feeling of keep going. Don't get back on there yet. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Let me think about this. And then I go to church and the entire sermon was, not the entire sermon, but a good chunk of the sermon was talking about our phones and just how addicted we are to our phones. The service was lit.
Ethan gave a message a few years ago, to this day, one of my favorite messages he's ever preached. And the title is Your Most Dysfunctional Relationship. And it's all about you and your phone.
I'm actually going to link it in the show notes for you that you can go back and watch it. Also, if you ever want to like attend church with me on a Sunday, you can totally do that. I'm going to church on Saturday this week though, because your girl randomly signed up to run a 5K, which speaking of, I've been in my running era now for a little bit over 2 months. Like, look at her go. I ran today and legit had one of the best runs of my life today. It was chilly out. I'm very much like, give me the 50-degree weather, and it has been really hot here. Yesterday was one of the first cooler days that we've had in a while, but it's been like 80 degrees, girl. And I've been running in this 80-degree weather, and I'm not built for that. Hot, and this is hard. I am built for cold climate when it comes to running. Anyway, this sermon was about, the acronym that he gave us was MORE, and it was all about living with more intention. And so it was, M was make life about what matters most, and the O was outsmart your smartphone. I'm going to tell you what the other ones were. R was rethink what you really want more of, and then E was everything is about other people. But coming back to like what's most important is this smartphone. He talked about outsmarting your smartphone and how it's amazing that we have things that are blessings. Our smartphones are not inherently bad things, right? But what tends to happen is that we have this thing that's a great thing. We start to idolize it, and then it essentially becomes a curse. It is where you are doom scrolling. It's where you're waking up in the morning. First thing that you can do is you're touching your phone. And something else that was really interesting that he talked about is what you communicate to someone when you're out to dinner, let's say, and you have your phone on the table. And my ear is like literally like, this hurts. But if you or that person has their phone on the table, and essentially what you're communicating to the other person is that in any moment of time, what might be going on in this little box is more important than you. And that was like, oh my gosh. And so I think all of us to a point can probably evaluate that relationship with your phone a little bit. And I know for me, I've used excuses all the time about why I can't be on my phone. Oh, quote, I'm working, all of these things. So he gave us four things that you can do if you are addicted to your phone. And the first thing is to admit that you're actually addicted to it. Like step number 1, get yourself out of denial. Number 2 is waking up before your phone. So that is putting your phone out of your room if you don't really have the self-control and the willpower not to touch it, because it is so easy. And oftentimes I wake up at like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning for whatever reason. Maybe something's trying to get my attention. Maybe it's my hormones are jacked up. I don't know. Perimenopause. But I am waking up at these hours, and it's really easy to self-soothe with a phone at those hours. And we don't need to be doing that. You need to be trying to go back to sleep. And I'm just telling you this because I know I'm not the only one that does that. Number 3 was really having a lot of intention when you are using your phone. So the picking it up and like, what are you doing as soon as you pick it up? What are you doing? Like, where are you going on your phone? What app are you opening up? Your iPhone can give you all this data, but it's often data that many of us just want to ignore. So the 4th thing is delete all distractions. So get rid of apps and things like that. So I deleted Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, TikTok, Reddit. And girl, I had saved a recipe on TikTok for my boyfriend. And I was like, shoot, I cannot get into this recipe. So I was like, I'm going to re-download TikTok really quick. Yeah, good luck, because it does not exist in the App Store. So that's going to be really fun. But I don't know when I'm coming back from social media hiatus. So if you're here, I'm going to drop a link where you can easily subscribe into my email. I am going to be sending out emails, kind of just a like, hey, this is what's going on. And, you know, there was a part of me that worried, like, who's going to know about the podcast? Are people going to remember? And all these things are things that actually in the grand scheme of things do not matter. Like, I am sure that no one has missed me on social media. And that is just a hard, tough, cold pill to swallow, especially when you are someone that really enjoys creating content. It is a passion of mine to show up and be on social media. But I'm also in this period of time of just eliminating things that really probably are not very beneficial, and being just super honest about that. Like, if you need to go on a little break, get rid of it. I will say one thing that I have done, girl, my email inbox, I got that thing down from like 38,000 emails to like 3,000 emails, which that is a pro tip. If you are on iOS 18, I really disliked how the mail feature of it looked. But this morning I was in there and I'm like playing around with it. And it actually is really good for, I would always have to go and like look up Domino's and see all the emails that Domino's had ever sent. Well, now it like threads out every single email from Domino's, especially if it's promotions. And it will, like, you can click it and it will say erase all 485 messages. And you just get rid of all of them like that. Like, that is crazy. So kudos to Apple. I still don't like how it looks, but that feature in itself, you just need to go to your phone when you're in your email and then hit the 3 dots. And it's like either list view or categorize view. Girl, categorized view will save your life. And that is another thing. I've been checking my email so much because I'm just so used to picking up my phone and like doing something. But my typical what I would do on there, it's gone. I have removed that distraction. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be back for a little bit. And when I come back, we'll make a big deal about it. But like at the end of the day, nobody cares. and I think that is really a good message or reminder to myself, and maybe you too, is like, if you disappear for a week, like, people probably actually are not going to notice. I'm going to be really excited when I finally do get back on there. Like, did anybody notice I was gone? Not even did you miss me, because it doesn't matter, okay? We're walking with Jesus now, and like, number one priority relationship, who we are trying to please, is him first and foremost. So that also is like a huge shift in just how I show up and what I'm thinking about. Speaking of distractions, I want to just have like a tough love convo with you today. And it's about why you actually, and myself included, girl, okay, please, why you actually are not making changes in your life. Be that in a relationship, your career, your health habits, and that one specifically. If you don't have good health, essentially you don't have anything else in your life, right? Like if your health is low, if you're not moving your body, if you're eating like your body's a trash can, girl, like what are we doing here? And I know how hard it can be to break these habits. Same thing goes with the phone. I've been doing this like weird thing, and I don't know where this comes from, but I'll get in my boyfriend's truck and all of a sudden, like, I'll just want to start speaking. Okay, great. We love that for me. And so what I've been doing is recording these voice notes. And one voice note that I have is, I titled it, Get Disgusted with Yourself. And so why do we need to get disgusted with ourselves? I believe that the positivity movement is important, right? We need to speak great ways to ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be graceful and not beat ourselves up all the time. Yes, okay? And then, girl, also, sometimes this requires you to just be really real and honest with yourself. And to the point of, if you need change, and if you know you need change, like, we're not ignorant to this, but when and if you know that you need change and it feels hard, you potentially just have not gotten to the lowest point. And oftentimes we'll wait for that low point, right? Low point is you now having to be on a blood pressure pill because you've been eating McDonald's 6 times a week because you're not taking care of yourself, right? Like those low points. But we don't have to get to that low point. And so what I want to offer you today is this idea of, yes, speak very kindly to yourself. And girl, sometimes you just need to get disgusted with yourself. Absolutely, positively disgusted. You're not moving your body. Get disgusted with yourself. Stop making excuses. Because even when you look at your excuses, there is usually, again, this is hard conversations with self, but there is usually something that you could do. There is usually some sort of intervention or action that you can take. Example would be, I know it's cold for a lot of people right now, and it's snowing, and it's ice, and all these things, but it probably isn't snowing and icy all the time, right? Like, you're getting out, you're getting your groceries, you're doing whatever you're doing. And so if you have been, I can't move my body, or I haven't been moving my body, and honestly, I'm a pretty fit and active person usually, but 2024 was, girl, I don't know what came over me, what enemy was just let's just make her feel like crud. And I do attribute a lot of this, and it's coming up on the year anniversary, to having that miscarriage. I really do think that messed me up, mentally, more than I gave myself time to process. And that's been something, I've really been sitting with that, hardcore in the last couple of weeks. But that's just an excuse, okay? That's what we're coming back to. Excuse, all right? So fine, yes, that was a traumatic event of my life. However, if I had gotten up to move, I would have felt a lot better. If I had tried to show up, if I had pushed myself, if I had challenged myself, I would have felt a lot better. December 1st, I said I was going to start running, and I started doing that. And I've been consistently, for now in the last 7 weeks that I got this app called Runna. Shout out to Runna. It's a vibe. And if you're wanting to run, you should get that app. I will give you a code in the show notes you can try it out for 2 weeks. It's $120 for the year. Totally worth every single penny, okay? I got up and I got off my butt. And then as soon as I did that, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Today I ran, I hit a PR, all right? And all of this is going to make, I'm just doing some things right now in my life that I'm not really open to share. But when I finally do share them, it's going to just be like, girl, like, pop off. She was really popping off. And it's not for validation, but it is hopefully for you to look at just somebody else and say, oh my gosh, she's doing that. Why not me? Why can't I do that? An example, just using this moving your body. If you've not been consistent with moving your body all 2024 and coming into 2025, baby girl, like, let's look at the things. What is it that's actually holding you back? Is it the weather? Girl, I don't care. Go outside and stand in the cold for 5 minutes. Nothing bad is going to happen. Okay? Go wrap yourself up. Nothing bad is going to happen. Get out. Get some air. Again, be stronger than your excuses. And so when you have all these excuses that start to come up, I'm going to need you to challenge the excuse. Who told you that, first and foremost? Why do you think that way? And why are you disgusted with yourself? Okay, why? Because many of us actually, like, low-key are disgusted, but even the disgust is not triggering us into an action. It's not triggering you to dust off your shoes and go outside. It's not triggering you to delete that man's phone number out of your phone. And so you have to have this hard conversation with yourself and just get disgusted. And when I look at even just like social media, I'm a little bit disgusted. Even though it's hard, even though you don't want to eat better, even though you don't want to give up your vape, even though you want to keep that man on the back burner just in case, you've got to give yourself space to see. And to just like think about, like, wait a minute, back up, zoom out. That's the word I'm looking for. Zoom out of it and really start asking yourself, okay, what's the benefit? Or what is the benefit that I'm potentially not getting? If you're not moving your body, the benefit that you're not getting is endorphins. It is better mood. It is better body image. It is all these things, because when you're moving and you're taking care of yourself, even if you're not where you want to be, it is in that commitment to yourself that it's like, oh girl, yes, like you're doing something little by little by little. And it's not, okay, great, I need to lose 25 pounds. And so I go for a walk, or I'm hitting my 8 to 10K steps per day, and poof, I should just expect for the 25 pounds melt all the way off of me. No, girl, we got to look at the small things along the way, right? So yes, getting that 8 to 10K steps in, it's not going to melt the weight off of you right away, but you're going to get outside. You're going to be in nature. If you're a freak like me, your best ideas, guess where they come from? When you are outside, not when you're sitting on your phone in the house, rotting on your couch and doom scrolling. Okay? Because you're addicted to your phone, as many of us are. And this is no shade. Please rot on your couch and doom scroll sometimes. But if you're looking and you're like, this is a daily freaking habit, let's change it up. Okay? Get disgusted with yourself. Positive self-talk is great. And we've been so conditioned that in the positivity movement that, oh, don't speak this way, or, you know, would you tell your 8-year-old self this? Would you talk to her that way? Well, probably not. But if what you're doing isn't working, then girl, we have to do something different. So I want you to look at yourself. Do an audit. And your finances. Girl, I'm be disgusted with myself and my finances. If it's your body, okay, yes, don't walk around calling yourself a slob or the F word or whatever. But, you know, maybe you say, girl, why have you let yourself go? What are we doing here? And you get disgusted with yourself so that you start showing up for yourself. Because sometimes we're being a little too gentle with ourselves. If you listen to any of like David Goggins or Gary Vee, even some Joe Rogan, these more masculine personalities, I do think that they are like in the world of being your feminine, get out of your masculine. That word sounds really weird when you can't hear. But getting out of your masculine. Some of us absolutely need to, myself included. And then also, it's not to like banish being in that masculine. That serves as a purpose. If being in your masculine energy serves as you getting things done, well, girl, go be in it. But a lot of us, hyper independent specifically, we actually need to be in our feminine to actually get more done. So you know who you are, right? You know if you lean into more of the I'm in the flow versus I've got to like chomping at the bit to get this thing done, and you're more in your masculine energy. I want you to think about your life right now, where you are, and what is that one thing that you need to change? And there's probably a list of things that you need to change, but girl, just pick one and be disgusted with yourself. Be so disgusted. Brother, ew. Sister in Christ, ew. What are you doing? I need you to eliminate all the lovey-dovey self-talk to yourself and get disgusted with yourself. Because I guarantee you that there is something that you need to change in your life. There's something uncomfortable that you need to do, and you're being a little too nice to yourself, aka not getting it done. Not taking any forward action. This is, oh my gosh. I just looked at my computer. I'm like, oh my, I'm going to sit down and record 8 minutes. I've been yapping for 30 minutes. Yes. Also, I've made it 30 minutes without saying one single cuss word. So we love that. And again, it's being uncomfortable, getting disgusted with yourself, asking yourself, girl, why are we just doing the same thing that we've been doing over and over again? And why are we so comfortable with being like, that's just how I am? I mean, for real, right? Like, be so for real. So I love you so much. Have a good week. Let me know, what are you getting disgusted with about yourself so that you can ultimately go out and make radical change. Comment or hit me back in email. If you want to stay in touch, please subscribe to my email list because I'm going to be sending little newsletters. I am going to say I'm going to be gone at least for another week, at least. So let's get connected. And yeah, thanks for riding with me. Share this episode with a friend if any of it spoke to you. I love you so much, and I will see you next week.